What's up, everyone? Tim Galbraith here, Idiopathic Singularity. We're going to talk some artificial intelligence. I'm fascinated by this topic, and I'm just going to continue to keep sharing the things that I learned because I think these are things we all need to learn. And yet, it's very confusing. There's a lot going on, but I'm going to give you 5 quotes from the past week that are particularly notable for various reasons. The first one comes from Demis Hassabis, who's the CEO of Google DeepMind. He was speaking on their podcast December 18th about the sustainability of the current AI funding frenzy when he said some startups basically haven't even got going yet. Many early stage companies are now raising tens of billions of dollars before even launching a product. This trend exposes cracks in the valuation model. And that's certainly an important bubble warning to get. I got one more from Mr. Hassabis. He was talking about why LLMs must move beyond text data to, quote, experience the physical world to solve robotics. Again, this was the 18th of December. There's still a lot, he says, about the spatial dynamics of the world, spatial awareness, and the physical context we're in, and how that works mechanically. That is hard to describe in words. First off, I want to say shout out Christian. Christian was a friend of mine, is a friend of mine. Way back in the day, 20, 25 years ago, when we crossed paths, I realized how brilliant this guy really was. But something he was always scoring high in was spatial awareness or something to that effect. He was a really intelligent guy, great at video games, and but just a brilliant person in general. So shout out Christian. All right, the third quote of the week comes from Brian Hopkins, who's the vice president of emerging tech portfolio at Forrester. He was talking about why corporations are delaying roughly 25% of their planned 2026 AI spending. Now, he said this on the 19th, just a couple days ago. Quote, the tech companies who have built this technology have spun this tale that this is all going to change quickly. But we humans don't change that fast. So, very pessimistic feeling to these quotes this week, but moving ahead to number 4, right? Customer service and empathy is really what we're looking at here when Sebastian Siemi, I can't even say it, the CEO of Klarna, though. I will learn to say it. I promise you, Sebastian S. Siemiatkowski. That's my best guess. I feel like I have to guess it ends Kowski, which might be like Polish. I'm part Polish. Anyway, the context of this quote is that he was explaining why human agents remain a critical failsafe, even as Klarna automates the work of 850 agents. Again, he said this December 19th. We are talking about Sebastian, the CEO of Klarna. His quote, if you want to stay customer obsessed, you can't rely on AI. Empathy is probably the key thing that's holding us from having AI agents talk to customers holistically right now. Now, that maybe is something good to hear. I mean, he's talking about how we still don't have AI dialed into the point where it can be empathetic. And you know as well as I do that when you're trying to deal with customer service because of this or that, and you get put on hold and you can't understand the person you're talking to, and just pretty much the whole conversation might as well be in a different language because it's just a bunch of jargon about why you're not going to get whatever you're after. Imagine doing that with an AI agent instead of a human being. That would even be more infuriating. You would just stop going to that company altogether. Anyway, forgive my rant. Fifth and final quote of the week on the AI bubble. Sam Altman himself, CEO of OpenAI, stated during a mid-December market assessment as shares in several AI infrastructure firms saw significant volatility. He says, investors as a whole are overexcited about AI. Essentially, he says, I believe an AI bubble is ongoing. Well, I mean, tell us something we don't know. We all know there's an AI bubble. There's possibly an everything bubble. There's definitely some bubble out there, and it's going to burst, unfortunately, sooner than any of us want it to, is how it appears. Sam Altman definitely has had to shift his attitude in recent weeks, especially with Google and Gemini getting so much love, and him possibly leading a company in OpenAI that is not only perceived as being perhaps somewhat unnecessarily secretive, isn't putting out as good of a product as a competitor in the United States here for maybe the first time in relevancy here. Anyway, I just want to thank you so much for sticking with me during this video. I think all this shit is fascinating, so I'm going to keep talking about it, and I hope you keep talking about it with me. Again, my name is Tim Galbraith. This is the Idiopathic Singularity. Please subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment. Talk to me. Let's talk about this because the world is about to get nuts. Thanks for watching.